Hello, everyone. A few things to start off with. We'll be joined in just a moment by Agnes Wildenstein, our associate programmer and the director of the film, Pedro Speroni, and a friend, Augustine, who'll be helping with some translations as needed. But the Q&A will be in English. And if you have any questions at all, you can head to slido.com and enter that code just there, and the questions will come up on my iPad. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Agnes Wildenstein and Pedro Speroni. Agnes, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you, Owen.
Perfect. And can you hear each other?
So, I'm very happy to welcome Pedro Speroni for the international premiere of Rancho, which is an international competition in Sheffield. Pedro, welcome. And
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you.
So I will ask you a first question. We just spent 72 minutes in a prison and we met a bunch of guys and it was an incredibly intense moment. I would like to thank you for that, and I would like to know, how did you manage to do this? Because from the very end of the film, we understand when Ivan is released, he says also bye-bye to you. So I was wondering, so did you stay in jail with them? How long? How did you do this incredible film?
Hola a todos, gracias por la invitación al festival, estamos muy contentos.
Hi all, we are really pleased having the film in your festival. Thank you all.
Bueno, la primera vez que yo había hecho un corto sobre las mujeres de los presos que me permitió entrar adentro de la cárcel.
I did a short film about the women of the inmates in another prison near Buenos Aires, and this short film let me get the acquaintance of the director of this new prison.
Yes, entonces fui a esta cárcel, me hice muy amigo del director de la cárcel primero, y él me dejó entrar a la cárcel, y la primera vez que entré yo tenía mucho miedo, me mandaron a un pabellón solo, y me recibió el líder de la cárcel, Artaza, del viejo Artaza, y en un principio él pensaba que yo era un infiltrado de la policía, porque en 30 años nunca había visto un civil en un pabellón.
Okay, so this director of this new prison, we started having a good relationship, and he led me into the prison, and he sent me alone to a specific sector of the prison, and there I was received by the leader of the inmates, who at first his name was Artaza. At first he thought that I was an undercover cop. So he was suspicious about my role in the prison, but after a while.
Porque nunca había visto en tantos años de prisión y en tantas cárceles a un muchacho joven en una cárcel.
Yeah, he was not used to see a young man go into a prison after almost 30 years of being an inmate, and he couldn't understand that at first.
Yes, and then me hice muy amigo del director, y el director estaba un poco loco y me dejó estar mucho tiempo en la cárcel, y estuve conviviendo antes de filmar 2 años con los presos, durmiendo en la celda, compartiendo mates, charlando.
So the director of the prison proved to be a really crazy special guy, and he let me stay and be acquainted with the inmates. I thought first for a few days or weeks, but then it came to be a 2-year relationship and thing.
Durmiendo en la celda, viendo tele con ellos, charlando.
So I slept in the prison in specific rooms. I watched TV with them. I had lunch and dinner with them.
Y bueno, y también antes de entrar a la cárcel había un cartel que decía cárcel de máxima seguridad, prohibido entrar con cámaras, y yo entraba con cámaras todos los días. Y a su vez también, cuando vos entrás a una celda, vos tenés que tocar la puerta. La celda es como el cuarto de los presos. Y yo tenía la suerte de poder entrar sin tocar la puerta, y ahí me di cuenta de que realmente hay una confianza entre ellos entre yo y ellos.
So there was a big sign in the prison that prohibited civilians, obviously also cameras, sound engineers, and whatever. And the other thing is that during the relationship, I started to see that there was no need for me to knock on almost any doors to enter rooms. So that meant that there was a bigger relationship and a trust between the inmates and me that led me go further steps ahead.
Yes, porque cada celda es como una casa, es la casa de cada uno de los presos y todos tienen que tocar la puerta y yo entraba sin tocarla directamente.
Yeah, so each jail cell is like the house of each inmate. It's a very special place, and for me to enter these places, these rooms,
los presos tienen que tocar la puerta y yo no.
Yes, so other inmates maybe had to ask to enter a room, to knock on doors, and they didn't ask that for me.
Y ahí es cuando me di cuenta de que podía llevar la cámara y fui con la cámara durante 2 meses a filmar la película.
So when I saw that, I realized that I could go with the camera and with a sound engineer and start filming what is Rancho today.
Yes.
So that was my next question. So it was only you and one camera and one sound guy, only 3 of you, or?
Yo fui durante, 2 años solo, sin cámara, y yo nunca había filmado, nunca había operado una cámara. Y me di cuenta de que eran lugares muy chiquitos y tomé coraje y empecé a filmar. Entré solamente con un sonidista. Yo filmaba y un sonidista tomaba sonido.
So at first there was these 2 years I was talking about. It was only me, and I had never operated a camera before, and when I realized about this trust that I mentioned earlier,
que eran lugares pequeños.
The places were really small. It was really intricate places to film. So then when I had a more relationship with the inmates, I decided to go with the camera and with this sound engineer.
Yes, well,
so just the 2 of us.
Yes, me and my friend.
Because there is something also, I mean, we understand that you get very close to them, and also you are very close to them by the image, because the image are incredible. Some shots are close, but they're also wonderful. I mean, the light is amazing. It's beautiful cinema.
Thank you.
Maybe we have questions from the audience.
Yes, and yes, I do have a question from the audience.
Please jump in.
Someone would like to know, at any point during the film making process, did you ever feel uncomfortable or scared as a civilian rather than a criminal?
Como un civil.
La verdad es que el Artaza, el líder del pabellón, me protegió un montón.
So Artaza, the leader of the inmates in this specific sector, the pavilion, he protected me a lot.
Pero sí hubo momentos donde sí tuve miedo, que por ahí los presos me decían, entrame droga, o si no me traes droga mañana te voy a matar. Y yo tenía un poco de miedo. Entonces les decía, mirá, si yo te traigo droga a vos, voy a traicionar al director de la cárcel que confió en mí. Y el día de mañana también te puedo traicionar a vos.
Yes. Artaza protected me, but there were some inmates that asked me to bring drugs inside the prison, and they threatened me with killing me, that as an extreme. And but I told them that if I did enter drugs for them, I would be betraying the director's trust, and that would be short-lived.
Yes. Y la palabra ahí adentro es muy importante.
Yeah, the word in the prison is really important. So if you betray your word, you can't go back.
Y hubiesen dejado de confiar en mí, pero sí tuve miedo por muchos momentos.
But yes, there were many times I had fear. I was really afraid.
Yes.
What? Another question?
No questions here, and yes. The
Okay.
floor is yours.
But but the feeling that we have also when we see the film, it's very human. I mean, there is not. It's a genre, the prison film in cinema. But in your film, there is something very special about. You say the word, okay, because they talk a lot. They talk a lot, a lot, a lot. But there is also a joy. They laugh a lot.
Hay mucha alegría también al
Yes.
mismo tiempo. ¿Qué querés decir al respecto de eso?
Y a mí, sí, justamente lo que más me interesaba era poder llegar a la profundidad y saber quiénes eran ellos, más allá de los delitos que habían cometido.
So what was really meaningful for me was to go deep into each of the persons involved in Rancho and the feelings, the how they were their lives and such. Besides of what whatever crimes they committed and such. So that was really important for me, and that's how we I could get to this joy you are mentioning, Agnes.
Sí, y de alguna manera también la historia tiene que ver con algo personal de mi historia, que yo tuve un tío mío, estuvo preso también por un tema de un fraude bancario, y él estuvo prófugo de la Interpol mucho tiempo, y estuvo viviendo en mi casa, y eso me marcó mi infancia, y bueno, y también quería conectarme con todo eso que yo había vivido de alguna manera.
So this type of movie it has a strong relation with my life, especially my younger years, because I have an uncle that was part of a big bank fraud, an international bank fraud, and he lived with me. He was being looked by the Interpol, and when he was hiding in my room, I lived with him, and this kind of relationship took me to want to understand and to have a bigger relationship with the inmates and such.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
have a
because-
question from the audience, Agnes, if you don't mind. We have a question from the audience, Agnes, if you
Fantastic.
don't mind. Somebody would like to know if you have maintained any contact with any of the inmates.
Yes, tengo contacto con los protagonistas. De hecho, hoy les comentaba a los presos, sobre todo a Artaza, que está preso tanto tiempo, y me decía, estaba muy, muy contento de que la película esté en Inglaterra, y me decía, la leyenda continúa.
So yes, I still have a big relationship with the main people that appear in Rancho, and today he had a talk with Artaza, with the leader of this
The block.
prison sector, and he told him that the movie was playing in this DocFest, and that the legend continues, so to speak.
Yeah, the audience has to know that Pedro talked with inmates before this Q&A, and they're all very proud that the film is shown in England, because this is the first time the film is shown outside Argentina.
Yes.
But to go back to can I go on, or do you have another question?
No, please do, Agnes. Go on.
Yeah, because it's really important that we really know these characters deeper and deeper. Each one of them, the chief, the one who killed his stepfather. I mean, we get really close to them. We really understand them as human beings. And there is this wonderful conversation at the end, which is nearly philosophical, about the thieves. One of them says, "Us thieves, we are dreaming." I found that really beautiful.
Yes, me too.
¿Querés contestar algo sobre eso?
No, sí, ¿sobre qué?
Sobre esta última conversación filosófica que aparece en la película y la profundidad.
Para mí lo más interesante también es que ellos iban encontrando allá su propia identidad. Y esto del chorro, el delincuente vive soñando, tiene que ver también con una frase que dice, yo quiero dejar de robar robando, y cómo allí adentro ellos iban encontrando su propia identidad.
So these persons in prison, you could see that they were developing their own identity in prison, transformed by the prison, and the thing about this phrase of we dream, ¿cómo que decirlo de vuelta? We dream.
El ladrón vive soñando.
Sí.
Tiene que ver con esa frase que dicen antes, que yo, si no robase, no estaría tranquilo con mi conciencia, o quiero dejar de robar robando.
So yeah, so we keep dreaming because if I didn't steal, I'd be restless, and I want to stop stealing by stealing. So that is the dream, to stop stealing by making it as a burglar or whatever.
Yes, we have a question from the audience.
Yes.
Someone in the audience has said that the film is beautifully framed, and sometimes they forgot they were watching a documentary at all, as it felt almost like a scripted film. They would like to know if you planned the story at all, or if you just let it spill out as it went on.
No, otra vez, volviendo a lo que decía al comienzo, tiene que ver con toda la intimidad que yo generé con ellos viviendo 2 años. Y no hay nada guionado. Yo estaba ahí con la cámara prendida, filmando lo que iba sucediendo, y después en el montaje encontramos la película, de alguna manera.
So what you see in Rancho is the fruit of this 2-year relationship with these persons, with these persons in prison. There is nothing staged or scripted. It is all the fruit of this relationship and the trust that they gave me, and the conversations, the natural conversations between these persons.
Y yo
in prison.
tenía la suerte de poder prender la cámara cuando quería, era como una persona invisible, y después en el montaje generamos la película.
So I was very lucky. I could gain their trust. This story of my family helped me with this, and it was like I was invisible and my camera was invisible, and this was key for me to capture these moments that you see in the movie.
Yes, nada está guionado.
We are talking also about the editing, because this is through the editing that we have this, because the editing is very good. This is why we
Yes,
have
the editing is very good editing. Miguel Colombo es un gran editor y estuvimos 2 o 3 meses encontrando la película.
So Miguel Colombo edited the movie. He's a really great editor, and we were between 2 and 3 months editing this movie. So this is really important to capture this sensation.
The storytelling comes from the editing. I mean, from day to night, and then you have the gathering with the family near the end. Comes from the editing. That is very well balanced. The editing.
Sí, ya los personajes estaban elegidos desde antes y en la edición logramos conectar la historia.
So yeah, the persons I wanted to have as key for Rancho were selected before, and then we put the pieces together through the editing. Yes.
This nice little group. Maybe I have can I ask a question or one, or do you have another one?
No, the floor is yours, Agnes.
Okay, so because this beautiful ending, I wanted to know if maybe you have already a project for a new movie.
¿Tenés un proyecto para una nueva película?
Sí, en este momento estamos produciendo la próxima película, que se llama Los Bilbao, y arranca con la libertad de Iván, el boxeador, y es la vida de él afuera, en prisión.
So yes, we are working with this new movie, which will be called Los Bilbao, the Bilbaos. Iván Bilbao is the person that leaves the prison at the end of the film, and will be centered on him and his family.
Okay, so you are in the writing stage, or?
No, estamos filmando la película. Él justo... sí, estamos filmando la película, su mujer está embarazada y estamos filmando todo ese proceso de embarazo y todas las dificultades que él tiene, porque adentro están contenidos y afuera están mucho más solos y la violencia es mucho más latente.
So we are currently filming the movie. Ivan Bilbao's wife partner is pregnant, so we are living with him and with her this process, and it is really complex because the Ivan Bilbao as an example is really contained in prison, but outside the prison things are difficult. The relationships, the type of
Hay mucha más violencia,
there's much more violence. It's not a controlled
situation, ¿no?
situation.
But is he boxing?
Empezó boxeando y después entró un poco en ciertas cosas no tan buenas y fue dejando el boxeo de a poco.
So he started boxing. When he came out, he started boxing, but then he fell to some bad habits, so to speak, and he left boxing.
Sí. Y ahora es prestamista, él vive en un pueblo en las afueras de Buenos Aires y es un prestamista del pueblo y vive de eso, vive
Yeah.
prestando dinero.
So he lends money in town as a job. That is what he's doing right now during the filming.
And yes, I believe we have time for one last question from the audience.
Yes.
Incredible film. Have the inmates involved had the possibility to see the film, and how do you think they would perceive their portrayal?
¿Tuvieron la oportunidad de ver la película? ¿Y cómo la tomaron o cómo la tomarían?
Bueno, muchas gracias porque me alegro mucho de que te haya gustado la película.
Thank you for enjoying the movie.
Y como te decía, ellos siguen presos y los pocos que han salido salieron un mes y enseguida vuelven a entrar.
So very few of the people of the persons of these inmates involved in the movie came out just for 1 month, and after this month they come back to prison. So
Por ahora no se la pude mostrar.
so they couldn't watch the movie.
Solamente la vio la hija de Artaza, que fue un momento increíble.
The only one related to one of the persons is Artaza's daughter, who saw the film
En Bafisi.
in Bafisi in a local festival, and she was deeply moved by the movie and by seeing his father on film.
Porque
on
vio a
screen.
su padre en su vida 3 o 4 veces en prisión, solamente.
She saw his father just 2 or 3 times in her whole life, and to watch him in film on the screen, it was incredible for her. So
Sería genial que puedan verlos, pero ahora es difícil porque van cambiando de cárceles, así que cuando vayan saliendo espero poder mostrárselas.
it would be great for them to see the film, to see the final work. It is difficult because they not only they go back to prison, but they go to different prisons. So but the idea is for all of them to watch the movie.
Yeah, we all hope it will happen once.
I hope.
And yes, I'd like to thank you for your questions. Augustine, I'd like to thank you for your translation. And Pedro, I'd like to thank you for your film. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.